Avengers, assemble. Welcome back and welcome to Sanders Presents. Almost as if we didn't drop a beat. Sort of, but not really, like we lost a channel and thousands of subscribers. But here we are. So, we're going to kick it into high gear as if this is a completely normal stream, just like we did back in the day on our other channel. And Marvel's Disney Plus Day special. We got our first looks, and we got a whole slate of announcements. Very, very thrilling, and I am incredibly, incredibly excited for everything that's coming from Marvel. We have an absolutely packed next few years between Marvel Animation, Marvel Television, Marvel Films, and Marvel Games. It feels like every month or every day you can be doing something new with Marvel, and I'm really, really excited for that. Obviously, the big ones is what we exclusively leaked ages ago on our old channel, and which some of that's still available on the Discord. But the big ones to come out of it today are the X-Men, the animated series 97. X-Men 97 is the animated revival. That's probably one of our biggest leaks, and we got it. It got confirmed today. And then the second one is Echo. We got Echo confirmed today too. We also got confirmation of Miss Marvel being delayed to summer 2022. So that's where we are. Obviously, so this channel doesn't end up like the other one. I can't visually show leaks. I'm going to have to be very careful, not publicly anyway. But I wanted to take a real quick minute for this very reason, and I wanted to thank my patrons. We literally just started our Patreon, and we have 2 members who have subscribed to the Avengers Premium, and they made it to the Wall of Founders, which you can now see. So I want to thank Ed and Fly Guy for their support. I'm very grateful, and of course, if you want your name added to the Hall of Founders, you can check out our Patreon. We have 2 tiers, the $3 basic tier and then the founder tier at $5, which the $5 tier is where you can get added. Obviously, we lost a channel. We lost thousands of subscribers, which means we also lost ad revenue, monetization, YouTube memberships. It's all out the door. Our Discord is still available, though, and it's still available for Patreons. So, again, thank you so much for considering to support us. And you can find a link to our Patreon in the description below. So, I legitimately am very, very excited. I do have a couple of things that I'm working on right now, and I'm going to pin a message on for our Patreon. But I do have a couple of things I'm working on right now. There's going to be some exclusive videos going up for patrons. So if there, we have footage we're going to be sharing. I'm going to be as vague as possible. It's footage that I cannot post on YouTube because we'll go through the same circumstances. I'll just lose the channel. If you're a patron, you'll have access to a couple of exclusive channels, leaks and spoilers. You're going to see a couple of videos go up with some footage. Unfortunately, I legally don't want to get into it too much, because I am currently, while the channel has vanished, it still technically exists. I'm still trying to get it back. But as it is, all I can really say is Square Enix issued a strike that took down my channel, and I'll have to leave it at that. Because of material that I had on my channel, and Square, I'm going to be I'm going to try to be as careful and as political as possible because it's kind of necessary. But we're in it was a precarious situation because Square Enix wasn't the only company that had come after me. Thank you, Deadly 8. Thank you. So we're still working through we are still working through a couple of growing through the YouTube channel. Obviously, we're since this is technically a new YouTube channel, we're fairly limited on a lot on some of our options and things we can do, but we're just going to run about it. We're just going to run forward and go with it. So I love the She-Hulk footage. And as you can see in our thumbnail is from the She-Hulk footage. I immediately got nostalgic for Bill Bixby, the Incredible Hulk Bill Bixby series. Like it reminded me so much of that. So again, I was super over the moon and thrilled about that. Very, very giddy. The Moon Knight footage looks incredible. It looks absolutely amazing. I am over the moon with that. So it just in terms of J.R. Gomez says, all I want is She-Hulk. Oh my God, She-Hulk. I mean, She-Hulk was my most anticipated. It honestly, it really was. And they knocked it out of the park. They really did. There we go. I'm looking at it right now. I just want to check it. I love it. I love everything. Spider-Man freshman year, I'm also really excited for. Spider-Man freshman year is going to be set in the MCU. It is a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And again, I think that's one of the greatest decisions they could have made. Again, we were literally talking about that 2 months ago, an animated Spider-Man series set in the MCU. And here it is. Like, that's genius. Now, that wasn't a leak. That wasn't a video where we leaked it. That was just merely a topic that I thought, you need to do this. You need a Spider-Man series, an animated series in the MCU of Spider-Man, because again, it fits with Spider-Man's history. It fits with the character. And as I've always said it, but Spider-Man for me fits best in terms of high school. I just think that's Spider-Man's iconic setting. Alexander says, I'm happy with a lot that was shown. I'm very happy. I think, like, I got no complaints. I really don't. Oh, and we got the Miss Marvel footage that confirmed our leak as well. Now, you can't really see it. There is a very fast clip of Miss Marvel using her new powers. Let's put it that way. Cad Bane. Hey, Cad. Cad Bane says, what villains in Spider-Man Freshman? Honestly, I think we could expect to see all the classic Spider-Man villains. I think this is really going to be, this might be the definitive Spider-Man series I've been waiting for. This might be the show that finally dethrones Spectacular Spider-Man. I'm very, very excited. In addition to, I'm also very excited by the Marvel Zombies. Like, I'm just excited. Like, this was great. This was great. Would I have liked to have seen more? Absolutely. I would have loved to have seen more. But everything I saw, bam, I'm absolutely giddy. Deadly Ace says, are we going to see Daredevil as a main character in Echo? He will be, I mean, he's not the protagonist. He's not the lead, but Daredevil is a secondary character is what I'm going to choose to say. I'm going to choose my words very carefully there, but like Daredevil's a secondary character in Echo. Obviously, it is going to be, it is absolutely Echo. You know, it's her show. Adam Stewart says, Moon Knight looks amazing. Yeah, it does. It looks amazing. I love the scene where he's looking in the mirror. Well, he has a reflection. It's not necessarily like a bathroom mirror, but he's looking in the reflection and Mark walks forward, but the reflection stays. Oh my God. And then when he's in it looks like a bathroom and he's just beating the guy. Let me go back to that. Yeah, right there. I mean, just everything. Like, this looks, I love it. God, I love it. And then, of course, Loki Season 2, What If Season 2. I love that scene of him jumping with the crescent moon. God, it's beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful. Oh, I've waited so long. Ed says, I love the horrible accent. I mean, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Hey, Casual Avenger. Hi. Thank you for joining. Thank you. And all of you. Thank you all so much for following us over to our new channel. I really do appreciate it. It's going to be a road to get back to the numbers that we had before, but it is what it is. Alexander says that sequel to the X-Men animated series. Oh my God, I know. I mean, even when I leaked it, I was giddy as a schoolgirl, but to have it coming out in 2023, to have Marvel confirm it today, that says so much. That says so much about where Marvel is taking the X-Men and how soon they intend to take the X-Men, and I'm very excited for that. I mean, and again, it wasn't... I mean, the presentation wasn't exactly what I would have wanted. I think it was kind of put together a little haphazardly. I think locking it behind Disney Plus was an interesting choice. I'm going to use the word interesting. Thank you, Disney. But I feel like there was a better way to roll it out, especially when we kind of compare to DC Fandom. And I'm not saying DC Fandom was the best. I mean, I'm not saying that DC Fandom has the head on, oh, hey, this is how to do it. But I just I think the Investor Day, the big Investor Day presentation the other year, was that last year? I think. Good Lord, everything's just kind of... But I don't know. I just think that they really, knocked it... They knocked it out with those presentations, and then just to kind of throw stuff out there. I mean, just to have a little focus on She-Hulk and to hear from the actors would have been cool. Same for Moon Knight, especially since, all these shows have finished production, except for Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion is still in production. But... next year is still going to be packed. I mean, it's interesting that they said coming soon for She-Hulk, and it's interesting that they said coming soon for Moon Knight, but they just said summer 2022 for Miss Marvel, which leads me to believe if Disney's a little nervous, like, okay, we need to be really careful right now because we don't want to start promising dates, everything that's going on in the world. So, but the shows are effectively, like, principal photography is done on all of them, except for Secret Invasion, and Armor Wars hasn't even started. Hey, Liz Edits. Hi. Let's see. Ed says it's deliberately bad though, right? I mean, I don't know if... I mean, I don't know how you want to read that. Adam says Moon Knight seems more mature for Marvel. Like there's one shot with Mark and he has blood all over his hand. It does seem more mature, but I mean... Again, that's a little relative. It's still not going to be rated MA. It's not going to be like R-rated equivalent. Hey, Saucy. Ed says to be part of the weirdness of Moon Knight. Well, yeah, it's very... I mean, I get where you're coming from. Adam says all the logos were so good, especially the Agatha logo. Yeah, getting all the title cards was really cool. I think they did a great touch on the title cards. Absolutely. Deadly Ace says, do you think we will get a Daredevil show on Disney Plus? Maybe an announcement on Disney Investors Day next year. Yeah, I think it'll be... I think that's fair because they don't want to ruin any Daredevil surprises, so we weren't going to get any Daredevil announcements this year. But I already said that. I said that on the other channel, but I already said that. It was 100% impossible we were going to get anything Daredevil today, because officially Daredevil hasn't been introduced into the MCU. That's still a secret unless you've been following the leaks here. So... do I expect a Daredevil announcement? Yes, but I think we're a year off from getting an announcement. We have to get the reveal of Charlie Cox and Kingpin. We have to get them shown up in the shows or in their respected properties. So, I mean, it's going to take a little bit of time, but it's going to get there, absolutely. Alexander says, I completely forgot Ironheart was a thing. That's right, and Ironheart, again, remember, Ironheart makes her first appearance in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Shadow Drift says 2022 and 2023 will be interesting for sure. Saucy says, heyo, hello, and welcome to you both. Thank you both for joining us over here at our new channel. Adam says, were you expecting them to announce Agatha this early? Yeah, I mean, honestly, yes. I have to be honest. I was expecting... none of the announcements surprised me just because of they got to go into production. And since they're going to be going, and since these shows are going to be going into production very soon, I mean, they had to push those out. Or at least that's how I felt in terms of marketing. Like, they wanted to get the word out because, Echo is supposed to be filming between January and February. And Agatha is also rumored to be filming between, again, start production between March and April. So, like, these shows are being fast tracked. And I very much so, like, you got to get ahead of it. You got to get ahead of it in announcements. Same with X-Men 97. I already leaked X-Men 97. I already leaked Echo. So, like, them coming out and trying to at least get a little bit ahead, I think is reasonable. But it's smart, but it's good business as well, especially for X-Men fans. Like, we got it. We got our X-Men. Which, again, you know how I feel about that. But the Spider-Man animated series, that one's awesome. And, I love being surprised because given the business that I'm in, I don't really get surprised. I don't, I already know Spider-Man No Way Home. I know the whole plot of it. I knew the plot of Eternals. Like, it's really hard to get surprised when you're in this particular line of business because I report on the leaks that I receive. So, The Spider-Man Freshman series is the one that caught me off guard. I knew about the Marvel Zombie series. Again, leaked Echo, leaked the X-Men. Spider-Man actually genuinely surprised me. That makes me giddy. It being set in high school, it being called, subtitle freshman year. I love the animation that we got to very briefly see of Peter Parker. And I also love that Marvel's pushing animation. I love that they're pushing animation. I know. I love the live action stuff. I adore live action. But I really love cartoons. And I think you can do more with cartoons. And in cartoons, you don't have to worry about your actor getting too old for high school. You know what I mean? It's perfect. I mean, now just get Josh Keaton back to voice Spider-Man and I'll be really happy. But, I mean, that's just how I feel. Like, there's a way of looking at it. There's a way of looking at it where, yeah, the live action stuff is great, but it is finite. Eventually, those actors will get replaced, or at least they should. I mean, you don't want to be without, in my opinion, you don't want to be without a Thor. You don't want to be without a Bruce Banner. You don't want to be without a Tony Stark forever. Eventually, they will come back. T'Challa as well, and the introduction of the multiverse will hopefully allow that. Spider-Man as well. Now, I get it. Spider-Man can grow up, but I'm not interested in an adult Spider-Man. I don't think his best stories were ever told when he was a teacher or when he was running a business. Like, for me, Spider-Man's best stories are when he was in high school or college. Like him in a school setting, still living with his Aunt May, that's a really interesting story. And if I had a preference, it would be high school. I think Spider-Man is most interesting, and it makes him, and he's so unique as well. There aren't that many characters in the Marvel Universe who are dealing with high school and being a significant superhero. And Peter having that kind of relationship with the media and relationship with Daily Bugle, that's really interesting to me. So I love it. And I love that we're getting a cartoon focus on it. And again, it's going to be authentically Spider-Man, and I love that. Let's see. Adam says, I saw She-Hulk and the glimpse of her suit. It looks good. Oh my God, it looks amazing. Like right out of the comics. Cad Bane says, I think Phase 4 hasn't been the best so far. That's interesting. That's interesting. Well, I mean, like, what do you mean, like, hasn't been the best? Like, what is the best phase for you? Like, how do you feel about all that? Adam says, I'm glad Moon Knight is somewhat doing Mark's mental health, saying he has a voice in his head and his reflections looking at him. Yeah, I'm happy about that as well. I mean, obviously that's something we all really wanted. Yeah, Hulk is completely healed. If you look at the footage, now obviously, Hulk is, this isn't a spoiler anymore, is it? I'm going to say that this isn't a spoiler. I hope it's not. But, like, we all know, like, he's Bruce Banner again. Right? Everybody knows that. Everybody knows he's Bruce Banner again. I hope I didn't ruin anything for anybody. Anyway. Canada Wi-Fi, that's an awesome name, says, do you think we would see Dane Whitman and possibly Blade in Moon Knight? Yeah, we actually have leaks Did those make it over? Because I keep thinking about our channel. But yes, we had a report, and again, it's on this channel, that Blade will appear in Moon Knight. There are rumors that Dane Whitman will have a cameo in Moon Knight, but that's just a rumor. The Blade one, I think, is more reliable. Let's see. Cad Bane says, will we see She-Hulk with the Fantastic Four? I hope so, but I haven't heard anything. Like, the Fantastic Four is still in development, so a lot could change. Ed says he's Bruce in the trailer, pretty sure. He is Bruce, but some of that might not all be present. Some of it might, some of it might be before he even became Professor Hulk. Like, it is possible that it's not all going to just be present. Right now, I'm kind of going through the footage of the... Oh, and then there she is, She-Hulk in her dress. It looks great. It looks great. Bruce will turn into Hulk again, but he's not Professor Hulk anymore. Like, he's going to be Bruce Banner, and it's going to be classic Hulk. He'll be transforming, which I'm happy for, because I was never interested in Professor Hulk. I mean, it's fine as like a temporary storyline, like, oh, hey, this is funny. But like, I'm more interested in, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I like the duality. I like the dichotomy of the relationship between them. I don't like it when they're merged. That's just defeats the purpose of the Hulk for me. And it defeats, that's not why I enjoy the Hulk. With the Eternals Dane ending, I feel like we have to deal with that before having a cameo. It's possible. But at the same time, we also know that Marvel's pretty comfortable just kind of jumping around, like saying, hey, here's an ending, here's this character, and then, when we jump back to it, hey, it's done. Oh, yeah, I love this scene of Nick Fury with the beard and no eye patch. Looks incredible. The cinematography is on point on all of these shows. And She-Hulk got the comedy already. Like, the fourth wall breaking, the Bill Bixby nostalgia, like, oh my God, it's perfect. I grew up with the Incredible Hulk series. I mean, obviously not when it was new, but it was still on reruns on television when I was growing up. So I grew up with the Bill Bixby Incredible Hulk show. So I'm like really, really over the moon about this. Legitimately, She-Hulk is my most anticipated series of 2022. And not just because he's going to be in it. You know what I'm talking about. The video's on the channel if you don't want the spoilers. But not just because he is going to be in it, but also I'm a big She-Hulk fan. I love that character. And Tatiana Maslany is amazing. I loved her in Orphan Black. She is an amazing actor, and I think she's really going to knock it out of the park. Tony Stark. Hey, Tony! Our channel has the approval of Tony Stark. Tony Stark says She-Hulk is going to be the best thing ever. I absolutely agree it is. Ed says Miss Marvel looks so colorful in terms of cinematography. I absolutely agree. Adam says, I saw from early reactions that the opening scene for Hawkeye is amazing. Yeah, and the footage that they showed on Disney Plus Day of Hawkeye 2, of that just one camera shot in the car, that's beautiful. I love camera work like that. Just beautiful. Cad Bane says, was the Incredible Hulk show where Hulk had that Jeep? Well, I mean, it was the only live-action Hulk show. There wasn't any other. So, like, if you watched the live-action Hulk show, then that was the one. And it's Lou Ferrigno's painted green, and then Bill Bixby was David Banner is what he was called in the show. Ed says Tatiana is also incredibly funny and great at improv. Oh, I'm sure she is. She's an amazing actor, so I'm not surprised. I haven't, I mean, like, again, her, just in terms of comedy, like, the roles that she plays in Orphan Black and the diverse roles of all the clones in that show just shows her range as an actor. She is legitimately incredible, and she has a bright future in terms of her career. But I off the top of my head, like, I haven't seen, like, any other roles from her except for her brief appearance in Parks and Recreation. Alexander says, not gonna lie, I want Lou Ferrigno in the MCU. Cad Bane says, oh, I meant the animated one. The cartoon. Yeah, no, I'm talking about the live action show. The live action show, which is incredible. I highly recommend you search it up. I highly, highly recommend you search up the live action one. Real quick, I'm going to bring up another screen, and I'm just going to see, I'm going to check my emails for any Marvel press to see if they have any press releases. so that we can kind of follow up on the information that they have. Ed says, I know her comedy from numerous podcasts. Okay. Tony Stark says we need a Hulkverse with all 4 live-action actors. I would love that, but unfortunately, Bill Bixby passed away. Bill Bixby's no longer with us, so it could only be Ed Norton, Eric Bana, and Mark Ruffalo. And then if they wanted to get Lou Ferrigno, but Bill Bixby, unfortunately, he did pass away. Are they changing that Mark? He is not a soldier from what it looks like, and I think we hear Ethan Hawke in the teaser. Tay Black says, so happy I found your YouTube. Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. Thank you for joining us. I haven't heard anything about him being a soldier, so I mean, I don't know if it's a significant part of the plot, or if they have changed it a little bit. But again, I'm keeping an open mind. I like what I saw. I legitimately love what I saw. I love the leaks that I've heard. I'm in for this series. Okay, so in terms of Marvel press, if you haven't been following, so let's see. We have the Marvel. Okay, so the featuring the voice talents, X-Men 97 will launch the reunited X-Men into an all-new chapter that will resonate with fans of the original series. Featuring the voice talents of original X-Men the Anime Series cast members, including Cal Dodd, Lenore Zan, George Buza, Allison Seeley Smith, Chris Potter, Catherine Disher, Adrian Hugh, and Christopher Britton. Some cast members of X-Men 97 will reprise their original roles, with others voicing entirely brand new parts. And unfortunately, X-Men, the animated series, Scott Summers passed away, so they will have to recast Cyclops. And again, he will be missed from this cast. X-Men 97 will also welcome a number of new voices to the cast, including Jennifer Hale, Aniwa Bauchi, I apologize if I'm saying that wrong, Ray Chase, Matthew Watterson, J.P. Carlack, Holly Chow, Jeff Bennett, and A.J. Locasio. Again, I hope I said all of that right. The head writer and executive producer on X-Men 97 is Bo DeMaio. Supervising director is Jake Costarina, and supervising producer is Charlie Feldman. Also consulting on the new series are X-Men the Animated Series producers and showrunner Eric and Julia Lewald. I probably said that wrong. Plus original series director Larry Houston. And again, I have to applaud Disney marketing for going with the meme, because it's Wolverine on the bed looking at the photo, and it is X-Men, Marvel Studios, X-Men 97, all new original series streaming 2023. I applaud that immensely. Absolutely love it. Okay, now I'm jumping back over. Cad Bane, Red Hulk and She-Hulk, I heard he was, but again, that's just a rumor. I'm not calling that one a leak. I just heard it. So that's firmly in the rumors. Ed says Mark does deal with multiple backstories, so they could always go back and do a soldier thing if they wanted. That's true. Alexander says the only thing I didn't like about the event was all the Kenobi spam. Yeah, that caught me off guard as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know that Star Wars fans really wanted to see something more. I don't know. I'm of two minds about it. Like, Marvel is just hitting it with the, just hitting it out of the park. Marvel has everything lined up. Everything's running so smoothly at Marvel, and Star Wars is just silent. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Ed's put the meme in the Discord just now. It's in the television channel. Let's take a look real quick. I got my phone right here. I love it. I do love the meme. There it is. There it is. I applaud Disney's marketing, though. Very, very good choice. Tony Stark says, do you think they will continue the X-Men one right where they ended it? Yeah, they confirmed that they are. It's literally picking up where the original X-Men the Animated Series ended. So, if you haven't watched X-Men the Animated Series, go binge it now. Because it is 100% a continuation. It's picking up right where it left off. No reboot, no reimagining, no, hey, we're retconning some stuff. No, it's literally picking up right where it left off, which again is that's what I wanted. That's it. That's what I wanted, and so I'm happy. Also, I've just been so starved of X-Men content. You know what I mean? Like it's been such a long time because Ike Perlmutter is a jerk, and Ike Perlmutter has not wanted to give any attention to X-Men while Fox owned them. But now Kevin Feige got it. Kevin Feige got it out, and I am so thrilled. Okay, let's see. I'm looking at the press releases for the other shows right now. Just an announcement that Moon Knight is coming to Disney Plus in 2022. Nothing else here is listed that's significant. She-Hulk will premiere in 2022. No other announcements in the press release for that that's worth talking about. Miss Marvel will premiere 2022. Okay. Yeah. So nothing major. The press, but again, it does give us, we knew those shows were coming in 2022. We got them. Echo, the character, will first be introduced in Hawkeye. That's it. And it's just coming soon to the platform. No year is listed with Echo. Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, Holiday 2022. Let's see. The animated series, Spider-Man Freshman Year. The animated series follows Peter Parker on his way to becoming Spider-Man in the MCU with a journey unlike we've ever seen and a style that celebrates the character's early comic book roots. Written by executive producer Jeff Trammell. That looks amazing. And again, it looks like Ditko art come to life. That looks absolutely incredible. No year on that, just coming soon. Again, I'm just going through. Okay, Secret Invasion. Press release says the series stars Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury and Ben Mendelsohn as the Skrull Talos, characters who first met in Marvel Studios' Captain Marvel. The crossover comic event series showcases a faction of shape-shifting Skrulls who have been infiltrating Earth for years. Coming soon. No year is listed with Secret Invasion in the press release. Marvel Zombies. Coming soon. Directed by executive producer Brian Andrews and written by executive producer Zeb Wells. Just listed as coming soon. No year announced with that either. Okay, yeah, so that's it. That's it. Just a lot of coming soons. Okay, I'm jumping back over to our live chat. Adam says, since they're continuing the X-Men animated series, does this mean they are currently working on MCU live-action X-Men? Oh, yeah, they are. But, I've leaked that. Yeah, and I have something coming up soon. I'm working on something very big for me. That will be an exclusive. I'm still trying to get some sources for it. I'm going to try to run the story as soon as possible so that I can get ahead of the curve, but I'm working on something. Nothing to announce today. I'm waiting to hear back from people, but I'm working on a big story. Let's see. Alexander says, sadly, both. Oh, yeah, that's right. That is true. Kirby Morrow passed away unfortunately from an overdose, and Norm Spencer both have passed away, and it is an absolute shame. Both were amazing actors, and they were really, really amazing people. I had the privilege of meeting both of them, and they were very kind, very great people, and they will be significantly missed in terms of the X-Men fandom. Adam says, what could the Agatha show be? Her post-WandaVision and meeting all these witch-type characters in the show. Well, pretty much, yeah. You're going to see an evolution of Agatha. You might even see a certain Mephisto. Ed says, yeah, Marvel was a lot of coming soon when I took my notes. Thank you, Ed, for taking those notes. Tony Stark says, Secret Invasion is probably between winter 2022 and summer 2023. Yeah. So we talked about this before. Original production documents had Secret Invasion for a winter 2022 release. Obviously, everything's kind of been thrown up into the air, so I don't know if that's going to end up getting delayed and pushed out of 2022. As it is, we're still going to have a really good 2022 because we're getting She-Hulk, we're getting Moon Knight, season 2 of What If. We're getting the holiday special. We're getting the Halloween special too. No announcements on the Halloween special, which I thought was interesting, but again, it hasn't been canceled. The Halloween special is still on production documents. The Halloween special is still scheduled to start filming between January and February of 2022. So it's not canceled. They just weren't ready to announce it yet. And I think that's interesting, especially because they're already casting for it. Now, again, I can get into my own, crazy conspiracies, but it's just something that I'm paying attention to and something that I wanted to note. TJ says, what's up? Hey, TJ. Do you think that Spider-Man freshman year will explore the story to Peter right when Uncle Ben died? Maybe we could see Uncle Ben. You will. You're going to see. You're gonna see how the MCU Spider-Man came to be from the beginning, but you're also going to see him as Spider-Man too. Adam says, didn't you say in the Discord that She-Hulk was overwhelmingly positive and season 2 is guaranteed? Yeah, the reception to early footage for She-Hulk was, and again, this is all in the Discord, overwhelmingly positive. Probably, and I don't want to be hyperbolic. I don't. This isn't me saying this. This is what I was told. But She-Hulk had the best reception of any Marvel show that has that's been shown to people. So I'm as giddy as a schoolgirl for that. Like, She-Hulk is overwhelmingly positive. A season 2 really is all but guaranteed. I mean, it would have to, and I don't even like saying this, but it would have to bomb terribly. But yeah, season 2 of She-Hulk is already being eyed. That's already in the stages of being planned. Ed says, I imagine they don't announce so they could release it post 2022 Halloween. Oh, you mean the Halloween special? You don't think it's going to come for Halloween 2022? I think they'll make it. It's just, I mean, it's probably going to be a 6. I mean, like I heard, what I heard and what I saw in terms of the production documents, it's looking like it's going to be a 60 to 90 minute special. I think they could turn that around pretty fast, especially if there's no delays. If there's no delays at all, I really do think that like they could knock it out and have that ready for Halloween 2022. TJ says, do you expect Spider-Man to even have villains in the show? Yeah, I do. I mean, I do. I mean, like, my gut tells me that, and again, I've already put my ears to the ground. I've already started digging, and I'm hoping some people will get back to me. But I very much so believe that Spider-Man's going to have villains that you haven't seen in the films. I very much so believe that. Let's see. TJ said, I realized Hulk's arm has been healed in She-Hulk. Yeah, Hulk's going to be healed, and Professor Hulk is also going to, we're going to get back to Bruce Banner. He's not going to be Professor Hulk anymore. Adam says, would Black Knight's next appearance be Blade? I don't know about his very next one. Because again, there's still quite a time gap before we get to Blade in 2023. I think Dane Whitman could pop up again somewhere else. Maybe not as the Black Knight, but as Dane Whitman. As for an appearance in Blade, yeah, I think Black Knight's appearance in Blade is all but guaranteed. I feel very strongly about that. Tony Stark says, I don't think they want to release their first 2 specials in 1 year. I mean, I respect that. I do. I'm going to be optimistic and very excited and giddy. I'm very excited for the character Werewolf by Night. I'm very excited for the horror aspects of Marvel to come to fruition. And again, a 60 to 90 minute special, you really can turn around very quickly. I mean, if you think about it, they can, if they're on schedule and they start filming in January, they could have it ready by October 31st. I mean, again, obviously, we don't know the amount of visual effects. We don't know how heavy it's going to be in terms of visual effects, but it is possible. I mean, it's slim, but it's possible, and I'm excited. So. And I'm excited for the character. I'm excited for the actor, too. I mean, that's going to be something really cool, and I hope to see. And I also hope this becomes kind of the standard. I want to see a Halloween special and a holiday special every year from Marvel. And again, I might be making unreasonable demands, but that's what I really want. That's what I want to see. TJ says, I wasn't all that hyped for She-Hulk till I saw the teaser, and man, not only am I super excited to see the show, but I really want to play as her in Marvel's Avengers, which again, you'll get your wish, because that's good synergy. And see, this is, I mean, which again, Marvel's Avengers, I wish they had been doing this the entire time, releasing characters that coincide with productions, because I mean, can you imagine when WandaVision came out, hey, here's the Vision and Scarlet Witch, Falcon and Winter Soldier come out, hey, here's Falcon and Winter Soldier. I mean, again, that would have been awesome. And can you imagine when Loki came out, hey, here's a Loki villain sector. Again, we need that brand synergy. Now, next year should be lined up a little better, especially because She-Hulk is right around the corner in terms of the next character being added and in terms of the shows coming up. But that kind of brand synergy, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. If you're going to market it, then you need to do it right. Adam says, who could be a villain for Werewolf by Night? I don't know the character that well. Well, originally, it was Moon Knight. The villain, that was it. In Werewolf, the Werewolf by Night character, the villain was Moon Knight. Now, in terms of his other villains, let me search up real quick. Because even I'm not super familiar. I only know about Werewolf by Night because of Moon Knight. That's it. Let's see. The name applies to 2 fictional characters. We know that. There's Jack Russell, and then there is Jake Gomez. And again, we don't know exactly which one is going to be the particular werewolf. Yeah. His biggest association is with Moon. Okay, here we go. Alfric the Mad Monk, Acolyte Croft, Agatha Timely, Algon, Atlas, Baron Thunder, Behemoth, Belleric Marcosa, Benny and Little Man, Blackout. Oh, okay, Blackout. I know him. Bloodthirst, Captain Yamato, Chains, Creech, Q Sith, an Irish demon dog, Cubist, Danton Vela, Deprave, nice, Desmond, Detective Lynn Miko, who works for the NYPD. Anyway, I'm getting lost. Detective Phil Jones, again, the partner of Lynn Miko. Digger, Dimensional Man. Dr. Glitter Knight, that was my stripper name. Dr. Carl Malice, Dracula, Dragoness, Eddie. Not Eddie Brock, just Eddie. The Enforcer, the Father of All Worlds. Fire Eyes. Okay, I'm gonna get lost going down these list of names. I apologize. I'm gonna get too distracted. Alexander says, I don't know that character either, but maybe Jack-O-Lantern. TJ says, can you tell me what villains you think would be good to show in the Spider-Man freshman year show? Because I'm thinking like Boomerang and Beetle. TJ says, oh yeah, they really should start doing that. Actually, I agree. Boomerang, Beetle, Shocker. I think you could do Rhino. You could do MCU versions of Norman Osborn and Harry Osborn. I mean, I know we're getting the multiverse, but that doesn't rule out, like, we still have MCU versions of these characters that Peter could encounter. Because, Peter has never said outright, like, I've never faced villain. I don't know these guys before. Like, there's room for a retcon of, oh no, Peter's already encountered his versions of these villains. Adam says, you can tell Marvel has confidence to use any character they want. But they've earned it. I mean, they did. They earned it. I mean, like, I know that I fanboy a little bit, but I want to give credit where credit's due for Marvel. Like, they did Guardians of the Galaxy. They did Eternals. And look, I mean, like, they're just successful. They earned it. I mean, they did Captain America, and everybody said Captain America was going to bomb. Everybody said Thor would bomb. But they've said that about everything. They said that about Shang-Chi. I mean, they keep saying it. But, like, Marvel keeps knocking it out. Yeah, they deserve the credit. They absolutely do. I mean, and I think that they can really take the passion and take the studio, because they have a lot of great people at these studios. And I think, honestly, if they continue on their trajectory, yeah, they're going to continue to have hits. And there's nothing wrong with that. Is it a bubble? I mean, is it a superhero bubble that could burst? Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's the Western. Maybe one day the superhero bubble will burst. But honestly, I don't think it's going to happen in our lifetime. I really don't. I think Marvel's going to be around. I really do. Oh, and another great thing about Spider-Man freshman year, because it's an MCU, because it's a Marvel Studios production and it's a cartoon, they don't need Sony. They can do whatever they want. So Kingpin can appear in Spider-Man freshman year. We can actually have that, and we don't need Sony's input on it. I'm very excited. Oh, and the Enforcers! Oh my God, I could go grab my Spider-Man Stan Lee, Steve Ditko comics. I mean, like depending on how far they want to go, like if it's gonna take place immediately prior to Homecoming and then follow up on Homecoming, or the avenue that they choose to go down with this interpretation, or what they choose to retcon, yeah, this could be really exciting. Tony Stark says, if you think about it, next year is pretty heavy in terms of Marvel. We have 3 long-awaited sequels, at least 3 new shows, 1 or 2 new specials, the second What If season, and great new comic books and games. We're getting at least two games next year. I think we're getting, unless something gets delayed, we're getting 2 video games next year, maybe 3. Alexander says, I want to see Tombstone somewhere, maybe that freshman year. I think that'd be perfect. I think that'd be perfect. Adam says, what obscure villains do you know will show up in the MCU next? Obscure villains. That's interesting. I would have to think, like, how obscure. Let me think about that. Alexander says, I still think it's funny that Chris Hemsworth filmed Cabin in the Woods before he was Thor, and yet that movie came out after Thor. Yeah, that's movie making. Adam says, Wrecking Crew and She-Hulk. I've heard it, haven't seen it myself, but I did hear that they're in it. I know that there were, I know that there was a team in motion capture suits. I don't know if they were secondary, like, hey, here's Hulk and She-Hulk, or if it was nonsense like that, but I know that there was a team in mocap suits. TJ says, let's go. No Avia Rad. Spider-Man freshman year going to be lit. TJ says, if Jim Carrey is going to be MODOK, I would like him to be the villain for the Young Avengers. I would love that too. But honestly, I just want to see more MODOK. MODOK's one of my favorite villains. Maybe my top 5. You know, Doctor Doom, Ultron, Kang the Conqueror, MODOK. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so MODOK makes it into my top 5. Those are my big villains. Marvel villains, like just all encompassing. Nobody asked. Big Will should show up in freshman year. I would love that. I actually think like Stiltman and Big Will are like the big characters where I don't see them making the jump to the movies. So like getting them into the MCU in terms of an animated creation is perfect. TJ says, all I know is Midnight Suns. What other Marvel game is coming? So Midnight Suns is coming. There's the Skydance Marvel game that is, from what I've heard, tentatively scheduled for winter 2022. So again, that was prior to all the crazy nonsense that went on in the world. And then there is an untitled Marvel game that, again, maybe 2022, maybe 2023. But there is another Marvel game that's in production right now. And it is not any of the ones that have been announced. So it could get announced and drop at any. I mean, it could literally get announced and dropped like Midnight Suns. You know, they announced Midnight Suns and then turned around and said, hey, it's coming out in a few months. Now, obviously, it got delayed. And it getting delayed might end up delaying the other Marvel games. I hope not. But there is at least one untitled Marvel game that has not been announced that is in production. TJ says, bro, I really want to see the Enforcers of Spider-Man's first villain. I do too. I love them. Ox, Montana, Fancy Dan, they're great villains. I desperately, desperately want to see them. I loved them in Spectacular Spider-Man. And of course, Alexander says, give me Stiltman. Adam says, I honestly think Stature could get her own show after Ant-Man 3. Yeah, I believe that. I Honestly, I strongly believe, and again, I'm going to sound a little biased, but I think Ant-Man could get his own show on Disney Plus. I think we could get and I don't mean Scott Lang, I mean the real Ant-Man. I think Henry Pym and Janet Van Dyne could have a Disney Plus special one day. Again, I'm a little biased, and I know that there is some gossip going around. So I know that bias makes me look at that gossip and go, oh my God, it has to be true. I need it to be true because Ant-Man's my favorite Avenger. But I think it's possible, whether it is, whether it's something that happens because of Quantumania and the characters or we go back in time or something happens to them. But I think an Ant-Man series with Henry and Janet is very, very close to happening. Tony Stark says probably 2 or 3 extras for the Avengers game too. Well, yeah, I mean, at the very least, I would hope that they put out the 3 characters, like they did this year. So She-Hulk, Winter Soldier, and then a Captain Marvel expansion that introduces Carol and the Kree. That's what I expect. That's what my data mining tells me is the furthest along. Winter Soldier or She-Hulk, it could literally be a flip of the coin which one of them comes first. I will say that She-Hulk's gotten more attention. And then War Machine's been worked on. He could come after She-Hulk and Winter Soldier, but before Captain Marvel, but he's kind of up in the air. I mean, he could, it's also very possible he drops after Captain Marvel. DJ Warrior, hi. Hello, DJ Warrior. Thank you. Let's see. Alexander says he'd be a major problem to do because of the character's backstory, but I want to see Swarm somewhere. Oh, DJ Warrior is just really excited. Is the Serpent Society coming? Maybe Captain 4. I don't know about Captain America 4, but the Serpent Society. Okay, hold on a minute. We're gonna let DJ Warrior calm down. He's very excited. I'm excited too. We got a new channel. We even have a Patreon now. We have Patreon members. I'm very excited too. Let's see. Adam says, is the Serpent Society coming? Maybe Captain America 4. I think Captain America 4 is the most likely place they could drop. I know that the Serpent Society has concept art. I know that they've been worked on, at least from a visual design standpoint. Where they could end up getting dropped, again, Captain America 4 makes the most sense. Alexander says, honestly, while I would like a Fantastic Four game, I think I would prefer an Ant-Man one. I know. You already know what I'd prefer. I've already talked about it in Discord. I want Ant-Man. I want it. I want a Henry Pym Ant-Man game. It'd be amazing. Adam says, do you know who that new actor is playing in Guardians of the Galaxy 3? I forgot his name, but Gunn said it was a role every actor in Hollywood wanted. Well, for one, Gunn is hyperbolic. Again, he says that, but I'm going to play devil's advocate. For another, I know that 2 of the most coveted roles that people in Hollywood are after. And again, this isn't necessarily tied to Guardians of the Galaxy, but one of them is Silver Surfer. There's a lot of actors that want Silver Surfer, but Silver Surfer is not going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And then the other one is the High Evolutionary. And I feel very confident that High Evolutionary is in Guardians of the Galaxy, so I think it's very likely at this point that that's the role he would have gotten. If Gunn is not being hyperbolic and it really is one of the roles that people in Hollywood are actually going after, big names in Hollywood actually went after, then it's Silver Surfer or High Evolutionary. Silver Surfer doesn't make sense for Guardians, so it's got to be High Evolutionary. Again, just the logic of removal. Deadly 8, I am back. I had technical difficulties. I thought there were still 2 unannounced Marvel games in development if Skydance Media isn't multiplayer. We've talked about this, and I've tried to cover it to the best of my abilities. I will always admit that there could be some overlap. It's very possible that the Marvel multiplayer game is one of the games we already know about. So I try to be really careful. At the very least, just to be as transparent as possible, at the very least, there is still one untitled Marvel game that's in production in terms of production documents. There is a multiplayer game, but that multiplayer game could be one of the games we already know about. Because again, I'm working from very old production lists. Let's see. Cad Bane says you can do more with Fantastic Four. I get that. I do love Ant-Man. TJ says, if you read the Ultimate Spider-Man comics with the Enforcers and Kingpin, imagine if they make that in the show. Oh, I love that. I have those comics. I have those in single issues. I was buying them when they were new, and then I got the trades as well, because that's how much I love that original Ultimate Spider-Man run. But yeah, where Kingpin is like crushing the big man's head with Spider-Man's mask, and then he tosses the body in the rib. I love those comics. Like, the Enforcers and Kingpin were incredible in the Ultimate Universe. I mean, that first phase of the Ultimate Universe, those first 100 or so issues of Ultimate Spider-Man, that was perfect. That was perfect. Legitimately perfect. Let's see. Adam says, do you know how Gore the God Butcher will be in Thor 4? Will he be a villain who takes a stand from the gods? Yeah, he will feel betrayed by the gods. Like, he's been, and again, this gets kind of hyperbolic, but, you know, that's just kind of how this goes. But, like, he was described as a villain, as a complex character, because to be fair, the word villain wasn't used. He was described as a complex character with legitimate motivations. Now, again, Marvel has a rough road with villains. I'm not getting my expectations too high even hearing that, but that is what I heard, and I'm hopeful that that pays out. Deadly 8 says, thank you so much for responding to my question. No problem. Deadly 8 says, I'm going to pray 24/7 for that last unannounced Marvel game to be X-Men. So am I. Alexander says, yeah, Henry Cavill did say he would love to play Captain Britain. He has seen the rumors. We know that Henry Cavill has met with Marvel. We covered that prior. We don't know, we don't on the up and up officially know who he met for. I've been trying to narrow it down. And again, if you've watched our old channel, you will have seen me trying to narrow it down. Captain Britain, Doctor Doom, or Richard Rider. Like, I really believe that that's one of those characters or who Henry Cavill met for. I really legitimately believe that. Now, again, that's just me putting pieces together. But I feel like Henry Cavill met for one of those three. Hell, maybe he met for Silver Surfer, too. I mean, it's possible. As far as I know, everybody has met for Silver Surfer. I mean, if everything is true, like if everything is true, then a lot of people have met for Silver Surfer. Tony Stark says, do you think John Krasinski is going to play Mr. Fantastic? No. I don't. If he does, great. I mean, if he does, that's fantastic. I'm happy for him. There's no evidence. And unless, it depends on when Fantastic Four films, but John Krasinski's schedule is incredibly packed. I don't see how he fits it in. That's what she said. Anyway, but yeah, his schedule's very, very packed. Fantastic Four, again, depending on whether or not characters of the Fantastic Four appear prior to that film, based on some of this gossip that we've heard. I mean, a lot of it's up in the air, I'll give you, just because of the crisis and the state of the world and productions getting moved around all the time. But right now, I don't see how John Krasinski manages to do all of his projects plus Fantastic Four. Adam Stewart says, is Korvac in the Marvels? I saw rumors. I heard that he was cast. I don't have, so this is where it's like, it's a rumor versus a leak, and everybody has to kind of decide that. I heard that Korvac was in the Marvels. I heard that Korvac was cast for the Marvels, but he doesn't appear, like the name Korvac does not appear on any production documents. So he's either been redacted from the lists, which again is possible, but there's no rabbit hole to go down. There's no evidence to track. So it is up in the air in terms of rumor versus leak. Saucy says Henry Cavill would be a wild Doctor Doom. I would be for it. I got to be honest. I'd love it. Miles Morales. Hey, Miles, welcome over. And again, everyone, please remember, new channel. Please do subscribe. Let's get back to let's at least get back to 1,000 so we can apply for monetization. Alexander says, any of those three roles actually sound good for him, says Alexander. Yeah, I agree with that. Miles says, do you think Toxin and Null will be introduced in the Spider-Man cinematic universe? I think Toxin has more of a chance. I don't think Null does, just because and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Noel is a part of the Spider-Man license. I think Noel is a part of the Marvel license, and Sony doesn't have that. I could be wrong, but Toxin definitely. Cad Bane says, do you think Doctor Doom is truly bad? No, not at all. No, I don't. I don't. Like, I do not. Like, I think Doctor Doom has... He has an idea on how to protect people, and I think you could approach this in a very interesting way cinematically, especially as a ruler of a country, and I love politics. I think, though, that Doctor Doom wants to protect people. I think he has a drive to do the right thing from his point of view and to protect his country and his people. As far for what he has to, no matter the cost, do. I don't think he's an out-and-out mustache-trolling villain. I think he has layers. I think he's very interesting. But I think to do Doctor Doom right in the MCU, he has to be built up across multiple projects. You have to build Doctor Doom out. You have to build his country out. You have to build his entire world on Disney Plus. I'm not going to get into that today, though. Again, just a teaser for things I'm working on. But Latveria is coming to the MCU. Latveria is coming very soon to the MCU. If, again, everything I've heard is true and what I take at face value and what I choose, somebody tells me something and I choose to believe them, then I'm like, okay. But, I digress. You have to build out Doctor Doom right, though. You really have to get him right. He's not just a villain. And I know, and Marvel does. Marvel has a rough road with villains. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're really interesting villains. Sometimes they're not. There's only so much you can do in 2 hours. But I'm hopeful and I'm very optimistic that Doom is going to be one of those characters like Loki, who's going to be around for a while, like Kang, who's going to be around for a while. Because the villains are becoming characters in and of themselves now. Marvel is approaching these characters not as, oh, hey, here's a villain for this movie, and then we'll write him off. You're going to see this built out. Tony Stark says, I feel like Henry is the perfect Captain Britain. Again, I think he is too, but I would love to see his range. I think he'd be great as a villain. I would love to see that. Miles Morales says, oh, yes, you're right about Null. I forgot. Alexander says, exactly. Doom actually wants to help. His methods are just insane. Yeah. Adam says, do you think Fantastic Four will use different villains like Mole Man or Psycho Man and tease Doom in the end, like showing Latveria or Doom's mask? I do think out of the gate, yes, I very strongly believe that Fantastic Four will use other villains. Now, will they tease Doctor Doom? Yeah, I believe that Doctor Doom will have a presence, but I think Doctor Doom's going to have a presence in the MCU before Fantastic Four. Again, I've covered it before. There's a lot of evidence that Doctor Doom and Latveria are going to be teased sooner than Fantastic Four, and I think that's a great decision because Doctor Doom is a Marvel Universe villain. Yes, he is intrinsically tied to the Fantastic Four, absolutely, but he is a Marvel villain. He is bigger than any one comic. He's bigger than any one group, and so you have to start planting his seed soon. Saucy says, if they made their live-action debut, who would you like to see portray Galactus? I feel like Galactus has to be motion captured. In terms of like a voice actor. See, that's the thing. I would have originally said David Kaye. I love David Kaye. He's an amazing actor. He's Beast Wars Megatron. He's Professor Xavier in X-Men Evolution. He's Armada Megatron. He's Transformers Animated Optimus Prime. He's also Clank in Ratchet and Clank. But he's Ashram in Eternals. So I have to write him out. So for Galactus, I would either go with Morgan Freeman. I would even say Denzel Washington, but I would like to see Denzel Washington as Professor Xavier. So, I can't have him doing two roles. It's got to be a voice. It's got to be an actor with presence. Like they've really got to sell it in terms of their voice because it's Galactus. He's going to mostly be CGI. Like he's a massive space entity. Adam says, have you seen Kang's suit for Ant-Man 3? Is it good? Not seen it myself, only heard about it. And again, it's always been described as a faith... Off the top of my head, it was described as a faithfully modern adaptation. Like you recognized it as Kang is how I took the messaging. Cad Bane says Doctor Doom is super smart. Yeah, he's one of the... he is a genius in the MCU. He's one of the smartest people in the MCU. Cad Bane says, wasn't Doctor Doom the first villain to combine magic with technology? As far as I know, yeah. Again, correct me if I'm wrong in terms of, like, was there an earlier comic book, Marvel villain who did that? But as far as I know, it was Doctor Doom. Alexander says, let's get crazy. Give me Mark Hamill as the voice of Galactus. See, I love that, but I want Mark Hamill to voice Mephisto. Because I think Mark Hamill does a really good, like, oh, I'm Satan kind of voice. I think Mark Hamill does great villains, and I want to see his voice as Mephisto. Adam says, were the 10 rings a celestial weapon and made its way to Earth, and that's how the 10 rings will be connected to a lot of cosmic stuff? I mean, it hasn't been said for certain, but it does look like that's the route they're going down. Or, I mean, it's definitely going to be cosmically tied. I don't know about celestials. I'm going to hold off on a little bit on, like, saying it doesn't feel like it's going to be celestial related. Or maybe I just don't want it to. Like, I want to be careful. I don't want the universe to feel small. There's a lot of cosmic power and organizations in the Marvel universe, so not everything has to be just tied to the Celestials, and I would hope that the 10 Rings explore a different avenue of Marvel. If it ends up being just celestial weapons, fine, so be it, but I hope it's something different. Alexander says that would also be good. I just want to hear his voice somewhere in the MCU. Speaking of Mark Hamill. Oh, yeah, I agree. I want Mark Hamill a part of the MCU. He deserves it. Miles Morales says, I'm confused. Is Sony and Disney partnership expanding or what? Well, no partnerships expanding. There is no new contract. Marvel and Disney own all of the rights to Spider-Man except for live action movie and television. Live action. Marvel can go and make anything cartoon Spider-Man. That's why you see Spider-Man cartoons on Disney and Disney Plus. That's why there's all these Spider-Man cartoons. Disney owns animated properties. Disney owns animated Spider-Man completely through and through. So Marvel can make a Spider-Man cartoon without using anything from Sony. They don't have to get Sony approval or a Sony partnership to make any kind of cartoon. So I think that's great, and I think it's great that it will allow us to see more of Spider-Man. But no, there is no new contract between Sony and Disney. There's no new contract with any of the actors. Every contract is now over. Whatever happens in the future will require a new contract that has not been made yet. And which, again, is probably one of the reasons why Marvel is doing a cartoon, because they don't need Sony for it. Marvel is finally stepping up and saying, listen, we can do animated properties. People have responded well to animation with Star Wars. We see what Star Wars has done with animation, and people love it. We see, What If was really successful in terms of animation. Let's do it. Let's push animation and make it a part of the MCU. And they can do that with Spider-Man and not have to ask Sony, because all Sony owns are the film, or the live action, the overall film rights, like Into the Spider-Verse. Like Spider-Man film rights, Marvel and Sony can't do a single film. They can't put a movie in theaters with Spider-Man live action or animated. But they can make animated shows without using Sony whatsoever. But they can't make live action shows because Sony owns all live action and theatrical. Theatrical, of course, includes animation and live action. Cad Bane says, do you like the idea of Galactus being a Celestial? No, I do not. I apologize. It's not for me. If that's what they choose to do, so be it. I don't care for it. Adam says, Mark Hamill is Mephisto or Nightmare, and were you serious about Mephisto and Agatha show? Interesting for Nightmare. I still would side with Mephisto. Were you serious about Mephisto and Agatha show? So only slightly. The only thing that I've heard about Agatha, and this is true, this is the only thing I've heard about the Agatha show, is that it will settle fan demand. That's it. Now, that could be taken any way, but it is a show that is being created in response to fans' questions and concerns, things that fans brought up over WandaVision is the reason we're getting Agatha. I don't know if that's going to include Ralph. I don't know if that's going to include Mephisto, but the whole reason Agatha's being made is to build off, is to give fans what they want. Now, again, I admit that's an open statement and could be taken any way, but it makes me intrigued and it makes me want to pay more attention to Agatha now. Agatha is not going to be, I don't expect Agatha to be an empty show at this point, because I just, and maybe, and again though, maybe I'm just getting, maybe I'm overhyping because of that statement, but Agatha, everything I heard about Agatha is that it was built in response to fan demand. So that's it, and that's what I'm paying attention to. That's why I'm excited for Agatha. Cad Bane said Ralph Boner. Yeah. Adam Stewart says, never in a million years would I have foreseen an Agatha Harkness show. Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I did not expect it. I when it was first leaked, I debated, is this viable? Like, why do we need an Agatha show? I dug around, I asked some people, and that's the response that came back. Like, you're getting an Agatha show because of fan demand. And I don't know, like, what kind of fan demand. I don't know if it's, hey, we heard your, I want to be careful because I don't want to put words in the person's mouth that said this to me. But it was alluded, and I'm going to choose, I'm going to be very careful, but it was alluded to me that Agatha is going to be for WandaVision what All Hell the King was to Iron Man 3, if you get what I'm saying. So now I'm paying attention. Now I'm paying a lot of attention to it. I wouldn't have paid attention if I wasn't told that. And again, I might be hyping myself up now. That statement could mean anything, and I respect that. So I might be hyping myself up, but I am paying attention to Agatha now. Are we getting the black Fantastic Four suit or blue? When it was described to me in terms of the concept art, it was described, it was blue. Like, it was blue. Like, there was no miscommunication. It was blue. Adam says, doesn't Agatha have a son in the comics and he is a villain? His name was Scratchy or something. Ooh, off the top of my head. I mean, one, I got to tell you, like, I'm not the biggest follower of Agatha. Let's see real quick. Let me go through. Agatha has... Yeah, Nicholas Scratch. Agatha has a son named Nicholas Scratch. She also has some grandsons and granddaughters. We're not going to get into all those others. But, so just on Nicholas Scratch, yeah. Nicholas is the son of Agatha and was a resident of the secret New Salem, Colorado community populated by magic users. Pay attention to that. Agatha left the reclusive community to live among normal people and in time even became a nanny to Franklin Richards, son of Reed and Sue. Pay attention to that too. So yeah, and Nicholas is a villain, yeah. Okay, I'm hopping back over to the live chat. Tony Stark says maybe it is a Ralph reveal in Agatha. It's possible. I'm walking this weird line of, like, I want to get really excited, but then I feel like if I hype myself up too much, I'm just going to end up disappointed. Miles says, that's interesting since Sony is on their own and won't continue their partnership with Disney Marvel. Who do you think will be cast as Spider-Man in their future movies? I mean, they could use Tom Holland, or, I mean, I feel like it's going to be an unknown. I don't feel like we can predict it. The next Spider-Man after Tom Holland will be an unknown. I mean, that's just it. And I'm cool with that. Spider-Man should be an unknown. Cad Bane said, could Ralph Boner be a shapeshifter? No, I think if there's a reveal about Ralph Boner, it's going to be more of a fake out of Ralph Boner was never Ralph Boner, and he was, again, I think if anything, that's going to be the fake out. Like, he's going to end up being someone else, and Ralph Boner was going to be retconned, or however you want to look at it. But Ralph is going to be the fake out, I feel like. If there is a fake out, it's going to be Ralph. That's just how I feel. Let's see. All right. Sorry, I'm getting a couple of things together for patrons. All right. So, okay. Where are we at? Ooh, hour 14. All right. We're going to be wrapping up here in just a minute cuz I got to go and work on some videos. Yeah. All right. So, patrons, Avengers. If you are a part of our Patreon community, you're going to see a new channel going up for videos. Again, footage and stuff that I can't share on YouTube, images that I can't share on YouTube. I'm going to start. Some of them are already in leaks. And then, again, there's going to be a new video channel. Stuff's going to be uploaded there. Again, thank you all so much for your support. Miles Morales says, one last question. If Venom 3 releases in 2024, is it too early for it to have a fight with Spidey? I don't think so, but I also think they're leaving the door wide open that they don't have to go down the Spider-Man route if they aren't ready to yet. And there's a lot of reasons they could not be ready. Tony Stark says the last time we saw Ralph was inside the Hex, so maybe after the Multiverse of Madness, we will see that he is Quicksilver from Foxverse. Again, I think it's I think there's a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of ways to fix the Ralph conundrum. And I do think that absolutely there's a lot of avenues that they can go down to correct that. So, to my patrons, again, thank all of you. And to members of our founders, again, this is our Hall of Avenger founders. Ed, FlyGuy215, thank you so much for supporting us at the $5 tier. And again, your name can be added to the $5 tier, and you can become a producer of Sanders Presents as well. And recommend your own content that you would like to see us cover and produce. So thank you all so much. Obviously, we've had to start over. It's going to be a long journey. It's a long journey to get to monetization, and it's a long road we have ahead of us. Starting over with analytics, starting over with the algorithms. To all of you who have joined, who's made the jump over, thank you so much. Please consider sharing this content, liking this video, subscribing to the channel. It's going to help YouTube analytics. It's going to let people know where Sanders Presents is at now. It's going to let people know, hey, the other channel's gone. This is where we're at. This is where we're operating. So please and thank you. And again, please consider supporting us by becoming an Avenger today and following that link to become a patron. Above all else, and most importantly, stay safe, take care of others, and have an absolutely wonderful day. Now I got to get to work because there's a lot to cover today.